coming to you live from the cradle of motherfucking civilization. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
What have you done?
What's happening? I butchered the opening. I pushed the wrong button and everything fucked up. But welcome to the 114th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as per the last 113 episodes, and this one, am Log Power Slave. And as always, I am joined by Real Time Sloth and Mylan motherfucking Games, bitch.
I might have to take that nickname. Mylan motherfucking Games.
Oh, I don't know that it's particularly inclusive.
Anon Pig used to be the bad boy of Destiny lore. Maybe I'm gonna have to take that title.
I think you've got it, man. I think it's yours. The mantle is yours. Oh,
wow.
All right. Well, it's been another big week in every news of every variety this week. But do we want to dive into it? Do we want to just quickly, Slothy? How is the Beyond Blue charity stream stuff going? I need an update.
So if you're not in the know, or if you missed last week's podcast, I was doing a 2 12-hour streams of Beyond Blue when I'd been awake for a long fucking time. But I decided to make it the whole week because my back couldn't deal with it. So we've had a charity run this week. I've only been knocked offline once by the twat badgers who were knocking me offline, which is always a plus. But anyway, so we've raised a tad over $2,060.
That's unreal.
And that means that my wife gets to wax my chest and my legs. And I have to play Subnautica and the DLC on stream, which is my worst nightmare because I played that once off of stream and it gave me fear. Fear.
Do you know you can play Subnautica in VR and it's the most
sir.
Me and Danny were playing it in VR and it is immersive. Both metaphorically and almost literally immersive. Being in the water and sharks and these giant kraken creatures coming after you.
just see you Matt in his living room.
I'm just laying on the floor doing this.
Screaming.
And people are saying in the chat, 3K, just go VR. I don't have the setup. I don't have a VR setup. I don't have the computer that can run it. I don't have the headset or anything like that, so that's not going to happen. But we raised just a tad over $2,000. I'm really fucking proud of the community for helping me out with that. As we've spoken about before on podcast streams and otherwise, is that they've really helped me out Beyond Blue. So we'll do one more stream on Sunday. And that'll be it for the charity stream of 2019. So
that is nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. But yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a fucking good week.
That's good.
A good week.
That's good. I've had a good week too. But Matt, how's your week been? You know what? We've been speaking for probably half an hour before we got live, and Matt is fine. So I'm just joking with him. He's fine.
I am fine. There was highs and lows, right? There's been highs and lows. There's been like
been ups and downs.
Like Destiny. There's been ups and downs. to underestimate the scenario. Look, for those of you who haven't tuned in, I'd be surprised if you haven't, because I made a response video which a lot of people saw. But I think there's general a blanket, a hatred towards Anthem and EA, and we are not immune to that. We definitely get why people don't like EA and why people don't like Activision, but it's sort of never been the focus of my YouTube channel to call that stuff out. You know, we have those conversations here, and you know, I always like Mylan Games to be a place to tell stories. So I just think the gut response from me seeing people really angry that I accepted sponsorship from EA was, one, I'm using the money to support a lot of Destiny content. I didn't say specifics in that video, but I can say it here because we've got, you know, lesser audience. You know, last month I paid Gambit Trap an extra $500 US for the amount of time that he spent making stuff, right? Making artwork. So what's your hourly rate? Keep a spreadsheet of how much hours you spend, and whatever the Patreon doesn't pay, I'll pay the rest. But I don't have to fucking do that. And like, I don't think that was what that video was about. Was telling people like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand, right? I'm trying to do the good thing and be a good YouTuber with Gamma Trap, who's essentially my like employee, basically, even though he's a contractor of Mylan Games, I guess. And you know, our contractors, he just gets what happens from Patreon. So I could just say to him, you can take it or leave it, really. Like that's what I could say to him, is like, well, whatever. Like, it's not pivotal for my content. My content's still got to perform. But I like the artwork, and I think it improves the product. So I'm happy to pay for it.
And funnily enough, not a dickhead.
And and you know, Gamma Trap's a nice person.
Yeah,
and he's taken the plunge to do this. So I want to support him so he can keep doing it. And then, you know, I'm also using it to build a team so, you know, we can cover other games and we can not miss out on Destiny lore. So I've got a couple other people that help me write scripts. They're not quite there yet, but I'm paying them for the training too, which is what you should do. When you ask someone to join your team, you don't expect them to do months of training and try to get to a level of writing that, you know, that I put out on the channel and not pay them for the time. So we sort of had that conversation, and I guess that was my gut reaction. I'm like, you don't like, yeah, now we're getting back in it. But basically, if I listened to that, like, the irony was your Destiny passion would kill this channel. That was the statement. Like, you are so strongly passionate about me only covering Destiny lore and not taking money from someone else. You're like an ex-girlfriend who is unhappy, doesn't want me to see anyone else, but still wants me to pay her attention. That's what you're doing. and if I listened to that, you know, I think I was really upset because I was just like, there's I couldn't see a hope. I couldn't see a future for the channel. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, Destiny will eventually end. You know, it's still got some time to go, and I still want to make lore videos, but Destiny will end. And so why put all my eggs in that basket? And then I just felt like the community wasn't going to watch anything else. And not only would they not watch anything else, but they wouldn't take a sponsorship. They wouldn't be happy with sponsorship. So it's like, well, I honestly, when I released the video, like the response, I was like, if people react badly to this, I'm literally finishing the contract with Anthem, and I'm not coming back. Like, if I had made a mental thing that if there's like 50% or more dislikes on this video, like that was going to be it, because I don't want to work in this industry. That's sort of how
I think the thing with it, Matt,
I was to the edge, man. You guys fucking dragged me back in. We love you. Please go. Don't go. You deserve it. We'll support you. Yeah,
you're a good bloke.
Which is great. Right.
It's a shame they don't know the real you.
Yeah, no, I mean, God.
Toxic fucking clown is what it is.
I think it's one of those things that, like, very few people who haven't been on the other side of the fence and aren't creating YouTube content at the level you are can even understand it. And like, even some of the conversations that you and I have, I'm still sort of getting my eyes open to things and the way things work that I don't know. And I've been, you know, we've been doing this for a long time now. So there's really so much that goes on in terms of like what it takes to keep a channel afloat as someone's full-time job. Dude, I don't even know how you've got the balls to look at the future and go, I want to do this. There's so many fucking variables and it's just insane, man.
Like I was saying to you guys yesterday, right? I'm part of this demo group going through on YouTube at the moment that, you know, they sort of roll features out by places. And when I tick the monetization box in the video upload, I have to complete a survey. And the very top box, which potentially will limit ads being placed in your thing, is mild swearing, mild coarse language. And I have to report. And luckily, Marlin Games is so clean. But say for something like this, right, where 90%, where it could range between mild coarse language and maybe excessive profanity, depending on who's, you know, whatever tragedies happened in the gaming universe this week. You can't make money off it. It's done. And there's a whole look. I know we're going to get to the Destiny.
Yeah,
but
look, let's do Destiny.
We'll come back to this conversation because there's more Jim Sterling in there. There's more like ridiculous. I want to share something that YouTube Insider said, which is the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and really scares me about staying on YouTube with gaming. We'll do that then. But look, that was my.
Oh, taste that hot cup of foreshadowing, people. You better hang around to the end. Marlon's going to tell you about Adpocalypse round 2.
Yeah, the Adpocalypse is 100% coming. I will tell you about it.
It is coming, and motherfuckers, you better believe it. It is going to screw over your favorite Destiny content.
Do you know Umbrella Academy? Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
I haven't watched it yet, but Chucky tells me good things.
That's pretty much a metaphor for YouTube. The apocalypse is coming. You can't do shit about it.
I refer to believe like that YouTube is kind of like Thanos, and all of the people everywhere are like YouTubers' incomes, and they just go, and guess what? Half it's gone. Just half it's gone. Don't worry about it. Nothing you can do about it. No recourse. Should have went for the head.
I guess I would like to conclude this week's summary by saying thank you for everyone for your massive support. You brought me back from the edge, and I am reinvigorated to continue on this platform, which is the boost I needed. Thank you.
Just fucking support the man. He makes good content. I don't watch it, but he makes good content.
Reportedly makes good content. Other people tell me it's all right.
People tell me he makes good content.
All right, we're going to hit the music. We're going to come back with the TWAB in the dulcet tones of Real-Time Sloth. All right, go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is This Week at Bungie, the 22nd of February 2019. Scourge of the Raid Past. I'm fine. Scourge of the Past Raid Along live stream Tuesday, February 26th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. You can watch it here. Twitch.tv/Bungie.
I haven't really. It's been a long time since I've tuned into a raid along. Have you guys done one recently?
Well, they tend to be at like fucking
4 a.m.
bullshit early o'clock when I'm like enjoying when I'm sleeping.
10 a.m. for me is like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
that's about normal time for me. And the last one I watched was Last Wish, maybe. And it was nice. It was fun. Like seemed like they enjoyed themselves. They were chatting away. It was a good sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's good to get a bit of an insight.
Do they talk any? Because I remember there was like quite a bit of lore in some of the raid stuff when they in the early days. Like I'm talking when they like a Destiny 1. Do you know if they do any of that? Like, or is it more just chatting with chat?
Just chatting. Just chatting. Last time it was a while ago, and I've slept since then. Only once or twice, but I have slept since then. So
since Last Wish,
let us know.
Yeah. Fucking 6. You've slept twice in 6. I believe that in 6 months. So that checks out. All right, moving on.
And then we've got some changes. So as you may or may not be aware, ladies and gentlemen, 5th of March, 2019, Season of the Drifter, Season 6. 6? Yes. 6. There's going to be it's around the Drifter, it's around Gambit and all that sort of thing. So they're making some quality of life changes, which I think are quite welcome, but we'll talk about that in a sec. So, as I said, quality of life changes coming to Gambit March 5th. Third round has been changed to a Primeval Rush sudden death.
Yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
It means the Primeval's just there when you spawn in.
Yep.
There's no like whole third round. It's just, guess what? Primeval's out. Boy.
You've got to get there and you've got to melt that fucker.
So that's the tiebreaker. So if you've won one match each, the tiebreaker is who can melt Primeval.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
That's
I
fucking
like
great.
that.
Anything
I
to
like
reduce
that.
the
I
length
like that a
of
lot.
like, I think that the games are too long, right? And I think everyone thinks they're too long. So that's going to cut 3-4 minutes out of it at least, if not longer.
You're gonna be saving supers though, right? Round 2 is gonna be a fucking snooze
I
fest.
mean, if it's that
like no, you're never gonna. It's gonna be like if you can get. Can you get a super in round 1?
Yeah,
Must be able to time
depends how you procced, but still. But if
Yeah,
you're the team that
depends how
won
you
round
build and all
1,
that sort of
you're
thing.
going to be using your supers. You'll be doing everything you can to
round
finish
2.
it before it goes into another one. So
Yeah, and then if you take that risk, you go into Primeval with no super, and that's gonna wreck you.
in the higher tier
okay.
games. In the higher tier games, there's probably going to be people who have complete builds that get their super like that, and then chain super, chain super, chain super. So there's going to be a lot of hunters running Orpheus rigs. There's going to be a lot of people chasing orbs and Golden Gun running multiple, running the Celestial Nighthawk and all that sort of thing, which is cool. I like it.
I think it's great.
Invader spawn location has been overhauled. Yes. The number of invader spawn points has been increased. Fantastic. Because when you invade and you're coming up against a team that know what they're doing, and even a team that don't know what they're doing, the spawn points are predictable as fuck.
I reckon they should change the Drifters announcement when the portal opens. Jump through the portal now to get shot by Thunderlord or a sniper. That's it. That's all that ever happens.
Motherfucker.
Well, that's another thing.
Yeah, so idle protection has been implemented, meaning AFK players will not receive end of match rewards or infamy points. Can we maybe just see if we can also make sure that it doesn't count towards the weekly Gambit stuff as well?
The bounties.
I would hope that's the case, but
I would hope the case too, but like a little bit more would be good.
Yeah,
Light versus light triumph can be progressed by killing any guardian with a super instead of just invaders. Cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I think
I've dead set got like 1 or 2 kills to go on that because I haven't played Gambit in weeks, which is I'm going to remedy next week, which we'll get to in a minute. I think it's great, and I think it's going to make, you know, like the Dredgen title now is pretty long in the tooth. Anyone who really wants one's got one. So make it more accessible to people next time around. Cool, because I'm sure there'll be other shit coming.
Locker types have also been adjusted, which is nice, but I would like to see them change each game. So the small blocker is now a Taken Goblin with less health than the Phalanx. Medium blocker is now a Taken Captain with more health than the Knight, and the large blocker is now a Taken Knight with more health than the Ogre.
That's going to be like, it's good, but when you think about what Taken Captains do, where they just sit in that fucking bubble, oh my god.
Yeah, I guess, and they throw the disorientating ball thing out.
Yeah, just the.
That's a good point from Big Shug, and I was thinking about this when I read this. The only problem I see with this, a Goblin doing the whole circle jerk thing where they shield each other, you can't kill them, so you can't put any motes in the bank.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, it's now worth to send three fives over, 3 goblins.
They all in there.
And hope that they all circle jerk each other.
And then
sending goblin circle jerk now.
Bungie, I've got a suggestion for the triumph for sending 3 blocks at the same time. It's called circle jerk. It's called Goblin Circle Jerk.
And for those of you who are looking for resets towards Dredgen, if you haven't got it like me, Triple Infamy starts on next reset, February 26th at 9 a.m. PST and ends on March 5th. Get in there and get that.
Yeah,
triple
I'm gonna smash it. I think I've got about only one reset to go, so I'm just gonna get it done, and then everything else just happens. So
Yep. And that's all the changes from Gambit until we see what comes in Season of the Drifter. Now, this is an interesting thought, and moving on to linear fusions and shotguns. The linear fusions, namely the Queensbreaker, we'll get into that for the time for like. Queensbreaker has been the bane of Gambit since its introduction into reintroduction back into the game. While Queenbreaker has higher aim assist values by default, we discovered an issue where it was not honoring aim assist values that applied to other linear fusion rifles of the same archetype. This resulted in Queensbreaker having over double the intended aim assist.
Did you see the video that Sassy? Yes, I do. I thought of you the second I read that.
And I was hitting the most insane fucking shots, like a guy like jumping midair between two trees, hitting like headshots. I'm like, what is happening?
Fucking Queensbreaker hitbox for the head is as large as a fucking Cabal phalanx.
Oh, dude. I remember that game. I remember what map it was on the Nessus map too. And Matt's going berserk. I can't miss. He's going invading, wiping the whole team, carrying on like an absolute pork chop. And I'm going, man, I really need to get that gun now. Fucking 3 months later, now we know why.
I have sat there and watched Winky get the most insane shots, and I'm like, you are not that good at the game.
Oh, that's hard.
I love the dude to death, but he's not. You're not that good at the game.
Neither's
and now
Matt.
I know why he would. Yeah, Matt. Like we've played Apex together, and
Matt's probably better than us,
that
but still.
Oh, fuck bullshit.
The other thing, Sassy. I can't remember which one of Sassy's mates that it was, but he showed the video of he was pulling the trigger on Queensbreaker as a guy he was aiming at blinked, and he moved forward like that, and the shot went. Like at a fucking angle out of the gun. What?
It's like there's a magnet in the back of every enemy's head, and the shot is a fucking.
I'll have to dig it out. I'll make sure it's all right. If I can, I'll share it on Twitter. Because it's just like it's like fucking off to the side.
Linear fusion rifles will receive a 10% damage increase to PvE and to compensate for the above changes. Shotguns will receive a damage multiplier in PvE activities, effectively doubling their damage. The Legend of Acarus is now an exception to this. A full auto rate of fire bonus for shotguns is now 10%, down from 100%. That is a big change.
Yeah.
In addition, it no longer increases the shotgun pellet spread. Default rate of fire values have also been shifted. Aggressive shotguns with aggressives, 55 RPM up from 45 RPM. Precisions are now 70 RPM up from 55 RPM. Thank you. I am so glad I have. What's the slug shotgun called?
The Shappy.
The Chaperone, thank you. It's been a long time since I played Destiny. Lightweights are now 80 RPM, which were erroneously stated to be 90 RPM previously.
Good.
Just tell me what it means, Basil, for someone who reads so much lore. What does this mean?
I know. Look, you know what it means? It means that we don't even know how shotguns work anymore, and we're going to have to figure it all out. I think the most telling thing that I've seen on this subject was on Reddit when I went in to get the notes and stuff. And the highest pinned comment was something along the lines of, respect for Shitbeard the Pirate and Mercules, who are going to have to go and test every shotgun again for the massive breakdown database. They're like,
Look, I mean, the obvious thing that comes to my mind is like Ikelos, right? That's the king of shotguns. What does this do to that? I don't look into the stats enough to be able to comment on this. That's probably area of weakness.
The standard rate of fire just means it's going to fire quicker. It just means it's going to fire quicker. So a heavy, aggressive shotgun is going to fire a little bit quicker and then a little bit quicker again. The rapid fire shotguns, 140 RPM plus are down from 200 RPM.
Yeah,
They
so
were
it's slowed
previously
down.
natively 100, but due to the intrinsic full auto, they actually had 200 RPM.
These are the kind of podcasts we need to get our experts on. We need our stats experts that we can just call in for a quick 5-minute plug.
so we can all
what
just
does
sit
it
here and
mean?
go-
What do the numbers mean?
Mason, Mason, what do the numbers mean?
What do the numbers mean?
But what does it mean? I've got no
basically,
idea.
We could
from
get
what I could
Mercury's on,
tell.
to be honest. I'm sure he would come on.
You know
Maybe we
what?
should
When they
look-
release the full patch notes, and after he's done the shotgun testing, that'll take him 6 months. We'll get him on.
For me personally, with the Icolos and the one from the Scourge of the Past, I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh, yeah,
It doesn't do as much damage.
Yeah,
It doesn't do as
that's
much damage.
by virtue of time. Like they've slowed down the fire rate, so
Yep,
I think it's fine. I think these things have to happen. It was they were like the no-brainer option. So when something becomes the no-brainer option, much like the next subject we're about to fucking touch on, I think that they probably need addressing. Speaking of no-brainer options, the one-eyed Nerf. It's
the
happened.
one-eyed mask, the bane of every non-Titan player, and even some Titan players in the
Me,
crews.
I don't even use it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I've got it. I just don't.
Oh, fantastic!
I'm a good guy Titan, man. I don't shoulder charge. I don't use one-eyed mask, and I don't skate. I'm just a good guy, man. Just a fucking good
I
guy.
love how you can list so much shit for Titans that are just bullshit. That if you don't do them, you're a good person. One-eyed mask, Titan.
All right,
skating.
so you know what? I will keep my fucking insufferable skull fuck on until the end of time.
Good,
Because
it's a good
I love
hat.
being able.
It's a good hat.
Yeah, threat level. Thank you, Tuman. One-eyed Nerve. Mark of the Vengeance duration has been reduced from 15 seconds down to 8 seconds. The Mark of the Vengeance, if you're unsure what the perk does, that is the one that tracks the enemy that damaged you. Health will now refill over time alongside the overshield. So when you killed someone who was marked, you got your health back instantly.
Yeah.
And the overshield instantly. I have sat there and watched Ets take damage, like as much damage as it would need to take to kill a whole team, and he wiped the entire team with this mask, with his helmet. Vengeance will no longer trigger for players in stupor. Good.
I think that's like that of all of them is the one that's like you can't just slam someone after they shoot you and get that fucking perk anymore. It's gone. So I think it's going to be buried to some extent. I hope it's still viable. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as strong. And maybe that'll mean that Eds can finally actually take it off after 6 months. Yeah. I think he got it within the first 3 days of it being available and has not taken it off. Rightly so. Like,
Eds, just take the fucking mask off, Eds.
Take it off.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Azarius. It's the same issue that was with the worm husk. So, you know. Update 2.2.0 will also make a slight change to hunters' view when inspecting their cloaks. Yay, hunters get to look at their shiny fucking rags that hang off the back of their neck that should pull them into a turbine of a jet engine.
Do you just reckon that that was savage, Sloth? Just before moving on, that was brutal. I mean, there is no hunter representative on the podcast, so I'm just gonna. Is anyone got a problem with that? No,
everyone's gonna have a problem with that. It's fine.
I think if they had their time over again with Destiny, there'd at least be a fucking zoom in and out of when you're looking at something. You know what I mean? Like you can look at even when you're looking at Titan Gauntlet, sometimes you just get like the fucking
just the shoulder pad. Just
and
the whole
else.
shoulder pad.
Yeah, I think that probably a zoom function next time around if it's not too much to ask. Pretty good.
Yeah. But no, the zoom function would be nice. But the changes to the OEM and the changes to Icolos means that people and Titans, like Titans and then the other pleb classes, will actually change their loadouts around and test things and not be on the meta, at least for a little bit.
That's why I love these Sandbox updates, because it just gets the box of toys and just goes,
Makes it fresh again,
and
yeah.
throws it all up in the air, and we'll see where it all lands. Says, you know what? In 2 months, there's going to be something else as the bane of your fucking existence. But right now, no one figured it out yet. So get in and have fun.
I was in a call. I was in Discord with Sassy, Chook, and Etz this morning while they were playing comp, and like I have been
You've gone into remission.
Some competitive. I've been secretly playing some competitive Siege and all that sort of thing, and I get salty at that. But goddamn, it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and these guys were yelling at these other. I was just like, if that's what competitive's like, I know casual Crucible is going to be exactly the same, and it's just not my jam.
Oh, you know what? I'm making a pledge to myself that next season I'm going to get into comp, because I'm kind of getting frustrated with, like, I'm not improving with the mouse and keyboard and stuff because I'm not pushing myself. I play these games of quick play where
I give it 6 games.
Yeah, dude, I think you underestimate my resilience. I managed to make it through 114 episodes of this shit with you, so I'm a pretty patient bloke.
I just think it's time. I think it's time because I feel like I'm only now just starting to get proficient. Not even, I wouldn't even say proficient. I would say comfortable with a mouse and keyboard. And I started using it when DT released.
Yeah, I mean, I've been 2 months, so nowhere near that long. It takes so much, to go from someone who was primarily console and you're just so comfortable with a controller to mouse and keyboard. It just takes a while to build in those.
Controller is not
muscle memory
anymore. It is not comfortable for me anymore. I played a little bit of Dark Souls the other day with my controller that I'd been using for years, my Razer Wildcat Xbox One controller, and it just did not feel good. It doesn't feel good anymore. Like it feels
I feel really slow if I play on a controller now.
Yeah, I have my hands here and it just doesn't feel good.
But that's my plan, and we'll see how long I last. And if I last less than 6 games, I'll fucking credit where it's due. I'll admit it, but I think I'll go okay. I think it'll be a slow road, but I'm gonna think of me and Chook might do it together, and we'll call it get good or get fucked. I can't have fucked.
Before Matt gets back to the stories of YouTube and all that sort of thing,
tales of
so a lot of people, at least in my channel, have been asking, what is Bungie going to look like post-September? What is Bungie going to look like when the divorce is finally done and dusted, and they're free and clear, and we've got,
I don't know,
like season of the blank is out and all that sort of thing? What's it going to look like? But more pertinent question: what is Season of the Drift going to look like, Matt, from a lore perspective?
Man,
have you got any guesstimations?
I don't think Season of the Drift. I do suspect that they're gonna add a new element, being like darkness or something similar in the future. There is so much stuff pointing to that direction now. It's almost like everything's like with The Last Word coming out, that quest, the Book of the Unmaking, and Shin Malphur's letters, so 2 entire lore books and the whole exotic quest, all pretty much pointed towards, hey, you Guardians are pretty good at like balancing light and darkness. There's probably like one sentence to summarize it. Like Shin Malphur saying, you're the grey, you're the in-between, you're not evil, you're not good, but you're somewhere in between, and I'm impressed, basically. And there's going to be some cool Weapons of Sorrow stuff. You know, I think Thorn or a Weapon of Sorrow. We're going to get some really cool Hive stuff coming back in. The Drifter got some it's going to be a cracker of a lore season of Drifter, I think, because the Drifter discovered like some dark creatures that are like the darkness, and helped made malfeasance, and like there's some crazy shit in there. So he's making motes of dark. He controls primevals that he makes or that he created by kit bashing Taken technology with like fucking Vex.
No, he didn't bash Taken technology with Vex. He went out with a big net and went up and punched a few ogres, knocked them out, put them in the net, and dragged them back to his.
No, that's
rubbish
what his
shit.
ship is. That's what his ship is.
Yeah, it's a
I
big
know, I'm being
meteorite thing. He's
facetious.
being a shit. He's being a
Okay,
shit.
sorry. I'm being very literal. I'm sorry.
We spoke about
YouTube subscribers.
we spoke about this the other day when when I gave all that footage and all that sort of thing from the last word quest. Like Shin Malfur, like it seems like he's giving up. He's giving up his mantle of the Dark Guardian Hunter because he has realized that there is not just light and dark, as he said. Like we as the player, as the Guardian, which I've come to hate the fact that we can't personalize that. After playing Anthem, I hate the fact that we can't throw ourselves into the character where people just call us Guardian all the time. Anyway, beside the point. Yeah. And we are the grey. We are the grey, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, like we are the moral compass for people who are not in either park.
So, like, the video I released this morning was about the Book of the Unmaking, which is interesting.
Wait, you're on YouTube?
Ooh, I nearly said it.
It wasn't me.
You're a cat.
The Book of the Unmaking is about the beginning of the Shadows of Yore. And to summarize, you know, the whole 9 entries, it's pretty much that they want to understand where Dredge and Yore went wrong so they can avoid going wrong and can harness the powers of the Hive and the darkness. And we don't know where that sits yet. That's their opinion, but you've also got like Shin Malfur saying, hey, I see you guys like seem to be doing it, you know, you seem to be in between, so maybe there is some truth there. It's gonna be cool.
I like that, Shug. Drifter is just Oryx in disguise, in the disguise of Matthew McConaughey. All right. I love these high school girls. I keep getting older. They keep staying the same age.
Whoa. That, you know what?
I wouldn't have said that.
Sure,
That better be a movie quote.
It is a movie quote. Yeah, it is 100% a movy quote.
I mean, I don't know that we're particularly big with high school girls, but they've definitely just turned it off now.
Hang on.
No, Matty, just to finish off your conversation on the YouTube stuff, man, if you want to draw back into it, if you want to delve back into that darkness, I know let's as much shit as the darkness that we can. As much shit, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, as much shit as I give these two, Log gives us and Matt gives Log and myself, seeing how raw and how disappointed Dad upset Matty was after the comments that, and I'm not gonna pull any punches here, that you guys in his community gave him. I'm pretty fucking disappointed in you all too.
Oh, I think you can't.
No, all he wants to do is make content for you. All he wants to do is
really
make
broad
content
brush.
Yeah, it is a broad brush. It is, and it doesn't apply to anyone, everyone. It doesn't apply to everyone, but for the people who were giving him grief, and I read out some of the comments on stream, you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves.
There was, well, look, there's two sides of it, right? There's one of the reasons why it was really upsetting was that there were definite fans in there who I recognized who just turned on a dime, and that's upsetting when you work in an industry like YouTube, which is so cutthroat. And, you know, you work for pretty much years for free just out of love of it. And you feel like you're starting to get somewhere and people cut you down for it. So there were definitely genuine fans that have been since day one that were angry. And I think that those kind of comments hurt the most. And, you know, they're the people that I would direct that kind of, you know, disappointment to, like Sloth says. But they don't necessarily outweigh the support, because then I made a video talking about it because that's all I could think about. And you know, the sport far outweighs.
Yeah, it was nuts.
You know,
it was pretty epic.
You know, the negativity. You just sort of had to, you know, have that conversation with people. There's also, you know, like you saying, Log, people who don't understand the ins and out of it. And I think it's reasonable to not understand, which is also why, like, I don't want to have conversations about finance, but I think we were at the breaking point that we needed to have that conversation. So you need to educate people about this. And I think YouTubers hate having that conversation in general. And it probably negatively affects the culture. Unlike Twitch, that has a different culture where when it started, it was like, if you want this person to keep entertaining you, you need to pay. YouTube's never sort of had that culture, and we don't really like talking about it. So there's an element of like education, I guess. And there's also needs to be a shift in culture on YouTube to support people with it. Because unless you're making daily, and this is what I said, unless you're making daily videos, you're getting at least 100, 200,000 views on daily videos, plus your back catalog is generating another 50,000 views per day. You know, you're not really in a, you know, you don't want to make them fucking have a family and pay a mortgage with it, right? Like,
yeah, that sounds like struggle street, man. That sounds like absolute fucking struggle street.
That's sort of what it comes down to. So, and to sort of go on to that, and this is why it's important to have, you know, YouTube memberships, and to have Patreon, and to have merchandise, and to have sponsorships, which is the crux of that conversation. Was YouTube can do whatever the fuck they want. We've already had one adpocalypse, and we're on the verge of another one now. And I'll tell you why if you haven't seen the thing. So there is some pretty devious stuff on you in regards to people intentionally or unintentionally uploading videos of young kids. Okay, so let's say a parent can upload a video of a kid doing gymnastics, and the intention might just be, hey, it might be a family vlogger. There's actually a fair few like family vloggers, right? And there's no ill intentions there. But then there's another whole side of people like uploading that shit to be perverted. Okay, and then and they're like time stamping when the kids are in, you know, positions. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, doing the splits, and if you're a fucking creep, you want to like find it, right?
Fuck. So really?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even pretend to be surprised because I know how fucked the world is, but still, like,
so obviously this came to the attention of YouTube. And then as soon as this happened, of course, advertisers pulled back. They're like, we're not fucking putting our ads on this kind of stuff. And then the issue became, how do we tell between a family-friendly vlogger and someone who is intentionally uploading what would be considered child exploitation? And the way that YouTube is discriminating is, if a video has negative comments on it, right, or has comments that is, you know, vile in regards to kids, well, actually anything, they didn't actually specify kids, they demonetize that video. So the backlash from that was, you have actual legitimately family vloggers who just got whacked with a whole bunch of demonetization because they have fucking creeps in their comment. And their intention is obviously not to exploit their children, although some people do that. But their intention was not to do that. They were like filming their kid doing fucking natural kid thing, playing on a fucking trampoline or doing gymnastics, right? So the oversight is that you can weaponize comments now. That's a bannable demonetization thing. And so YouTube is punishing the content creator for people in the comments.
Birds out there.
It's literally the most easy thing to bot too. Like, after views, comments are the most easy thing to bot ever. Like, they would just be spamming channels with negative shit to demonetize them.
That is one thing. I'll tell you about fucking some of the other random shit that they're doing. And so look, this is exactly what happened last time. Advertisers are already pulling back until Because what advertisers do is they put pressure on YouTube to act and say, we're pulling out ads until you act. So that obviously filters down to everyone else.
Yep.
So I think like Epic Games pulled advertisement, right? Fucking Fortnite stuff. Because their stuff's, is probably in that age category.
It absolutely is in that age category.
So I was listening to YouTubers inside YouTube, whatever it's called. That YouTube has their own YouTube channel, which is unsuccessful, by the way. It doesn't get any views on it or whatever. But they're people that work at YouTube, okay?
Cool.
And they're talking about demonetization.
It's like your dad having a chat. Hang on, I am a dad. Anyway, move on.
They're talking about demonetization. And one of the questions from the community that they were answering on the show was, what about gaming? Where does gaming sit in demonetization? And luckily, I've never been hit by demonetization for gaming videos ever. Maybe once, but they've been resolved very quickly. The legit fucking response from the guy that runs a team for demonetization, basically the guidelines of demonetization about violence in video games is like, if you shoot one bad guy, bang, and they just fall over, they're dead, that's okay. If you shoot multiple people and it's really gory, advertisers don't like that. They're not going to want to advertise. Literally said, breakfast cereal companies don't want to put their ads on those videos. You're probably getting demonetized. And I was like, so you're like, firstly, that is super subjective. Secondly, the first kind of things that come to mind is like Doom, games that, run on gore, that are classic that started fucking video games for most people.
Dude,
right?
Yeah.
Like, and advertisers can choose if they're on fucking cereal brands. I don't know if you've been into AdWords. It's very easy. You just don't fucking tick gaming when you're advertising. Like Google has so many options for advertisers to make sure that they target the right audience. They won't.
You
don't need to demonetize.
They'll demonetize content creators because the advertisers rather, what they want to do is make the most money. They want to make the most money, and if they can't make the most money, fuck everyone. They want to make all the money, and if all the money isn't there, fuck them.
What do you mean? I think that like the thing that's really coming into play here is like they clearly don't seem all that intent on controlling what is advertised with what type of content, right? Like nope. they don't seem if they're worried about cereal boxes, cereal fucking, Frosty Flakes getting sold with Doom fucking blowing the fuck out of things. There is little to no parallel between those two things to begin with. So their advertising structure is fucked up, for want of a better word.
Quite legitimately.
But here's like the irony, and so they talked about news too, right? So this is why news channels can't make any money. If you legitimately want to be like a reporter, an independent reporter on YouTube, and you do proper reports, you won't be able to monetize that because they have a blanket rule that you cannot profit from a catastrophic event, right? So loss of life, something like that. And I'm like, and YouTube blame advertisers. They say advertisers don't want it. Motherfucker, turn the TV on. Any fucking catastrophic event is jammed between 5 minutes of ads every time. Guarantee. If you have something fucking crazy happening, they will have the most fucking ad breaks ever. Every breaking news will have ad breaks thrown in there. You're telling me.
Let me put something to you. The cyclone that hit Bowen last year, I can't remember the name of it now. The cyclone that hit Bowen just south of me last year. I can't remember if there was any loss of life, but there was a lot of damage to a lot of houses, to a lot of people's lives, and we are still North Queensland is still recovering from that. And Channel 7 had a breaking news live from Cyclone, whatever the fuck it was. where they had their reporters standing outside in fucking gale force winds, close enough to the cyclone.
There was sheets of metal and shit.
There were sheets of metal flying past. They were putting their reporters in danger. I'm not sure if that's a producer's point. I'm not sure if that's the reporters wanting to get the best story and all that sort of thing. But they were saying the same thing every time. So, we're standing here in Bowen and there's pieces of metal flying past and holy shit, there's fucking rain on the ground and there's water everywhere. Oh God, that bloke's house is floating down the street. Holy shit,
does
he's
it
got
even need to be a fucking thing? Why does it even
all
need
that sort of thing? 5 minutes of that, 6 minutes of ads, minutes of that, 6 minutes of ads for 3 hours.
Blame
and fucking YouTube think that it's you can't profit from loss of life. Fucking old matey bait shop down here in Townsville who fucking makes $1 squillion because he's one of the best bait shops in Queensland had ads on every single fucking ad break there. I wonder how much money he made from loss of life and fucking massive environmental damage.
Yeah,
and so
it's definitely
at the end of the day,
there.
right? At the end of the day, there's like logistics with it. It's like, okay, like, you know, the audience needs to accept if I'm gonna receive a news program, there needs to be reporters. There needs to, you know, so there needs to be and there needs to be like, okay, I understand that there needs to be advertising involved, but then you get to a point where it's like, well, it needs to be respectful for if something really tragic's happening, it needs to be respectful. So, you know, if you apply that to YouTube, it's just that, okay, you know, you can't upload fucking 5 hours of, you know, a terror attack with an ad every 30 seconds. Do you know, like, but if you're going to legitimately do a reporting and like cover a news outcry, like, and actually give unbiased opinion, hopefully, or at least a different opinion than a corporation to the public, that's actually really important. And I honestly think that YouTube is just going to slowly strangle, I don't know, different opinion, individual opinion, the individuals, until YouTube is completely commercialized like any other news network.
Dude.
Like
and you know what? If
It'll
YouTube
die.
does that, if they continue, because it's not strangling their content creators, well, they are, but it's fucking self-asphyxiation, autoerotic asphyxiation. They're getting hard off the amount of money, and they're getting off with the amount of money that they're doing. But the more that they put, more regulations that they put on their, content creators, more content creators are going to go, fuck it, I'll open up a Patreon or whatever. You can't put ads on my videos, and if you do, you know, come at me sideways with a fucking spanner.
Can I just say this? And this is just an aside to how quickly the game could change. Could you imagine if every channel that operates on both Twitch and YouTube, if Twitch all of a sudden bought out a searchable database of like uploaded polished content that you could find that was all in the one place, that was all dedicated to gaming or, you know, like music, basically the Twitch categories. How quickly do you think people would start focusing on putting their stuff solely on Twitch?
People would start focusing on that, but they'd be then they'd get under the same fucking.
Oh, dude, I'm not saying that. I'm just
put under the same fucking safe harbor that YouTube's under.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Twitch, like we've had this conversation with Twitch, like they got away with a lot of stuff early on. However, and now you can see it being commercial. Like music's one thing. You could do anything you wanted with music at the beginning, and now it's getting more regulated. And the same's going to happen with their ads.
Twitch is yeah, there's adverts on all that sort of thing, and you can pay $9 a month for Twitch Turbo and you get no ads, or you can use ad blocker or whatever it is. But you notice that the ads that they play on YouTube are either gaming based or esports based. The amount of time I've seen that fucking dumb Fortnite ad of, you know, get Season 8 Battle Pass for free if you play the game, or the Anthem release ad, which is starting to really fucking grind on me, or, you know, esports ads or anything like that. It is gaming-centric, gaming-based. and that's okay. Because also the ads support the fucking cast, the broadcasters. Well, if you're partnered, that is anyway.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, and I know you said it as a joke in the chat.
Conversation of like, this is why, you know, that video. This is why sponsorships are necessary. Like, this is why content creators need multiple revenue streams, because just
YouTube is fucking everyone.
I just want you to imagine, right? Because let's say you're family friendly. You're probably sitting pretty like, fuck yeah, there's no way a guide like if you're a family vlogger, could you have predicted that your channel is going to be fucking banned because fucking creepazoids are leaving comments?
Pedophiles are looking at the children, and getting off on it, which is fucking disgusting. And I swear, if they ever implement a system that can find the people who leave these comments through IP tracking and fucking arrest them and throw them in prison, or even better, push them off a cliff with a very fucking sharp bunch of rocks at the bottom, Spartan style.
Shoot them out of a cannon into a brick wall.
Shoot them out of a cannon into the sun. Fuck them off the planet, you absolute fucking cocking fucking terrible human waste of fucking organs. But no, and on the other side of the coin, YouTube, so Twitch has all those ads, and then YouTube, so I watch a lot of zero punctuation on repeat because it helps me get to sleep. As much as Yahtzee is...
How can that help you get to sleep?
You're a weird
He talks
man.
at a mile a minute.
You're a weird fucking
It's his
man.
voice. It's his voice. It helps me get to sleep sometimes. And the ads that I see on that are for... the fucking United Australia Party, you fat fucking
let's not.
And United Australia Party, which is a political party here in this country, and then a whole bunch of things that have nothing to do with gaming on a gaming centric video.
I think all of this shit comes back to the fact that Google in creating YouTube have created a monster. And they've got no way of fucking controlling it.
You know, there's that,
so
but
big
there's
and
also
it's so all-encompassing that they've got no control over it.
Do you know what I was thinking when I was watching these guys talk about these people are actually employed by Google and work in the YouTube office, and they actually work on these policies? It's like, you've never had a fucking YouTube channel before, have you?
No.
Like, you know what would solve it? Replace all those fuckos with people who have at least 100,000 YouTube subscribers and left the platform because they were so frustrated. Put them fucking in, because they actually understand how the impact of
but then they'd have to
changes.
then they'd have to get rid of the robot that's fucking everyone over with automatic copyright claims and all that.
We're probably entering just like ranting now that doesn't.
We are ranting. I am ranting. Log's ranting. Matt's ranting.
I'm fine.
I'm proud. Shut the fuck up. Another thing. That Matt and I have been playing. Anthem. I know Log, the eyes are going to roll into the back of his head, and he's going to sit here and go fuck yourselves. I don't want to talk about it. Anthem released. The actual...
Did it? That was a week ago, man.
Main release happened 2 days ago? Yesterday?
22nd, yesterday.
22nd. One of the release dates... air quotes for the audio only listeners. And anyway, so Matt and I have been playing it for a while. I've gotten through the entire campaign. I'm doing side quests. I'm doing end game stuff. I actually got a few masterwork components by doing Grandmaster 2 stuff, Matt. So I'll have to get you back in there and do that.
Nice.
And I put out a tweet. After the end of the campaign, and I said what I enjoyed.
It's a good tweet.
What I didn't enjoy.
It's a solid tweet. I'll pay you that.
And I did not enjoy, like, the voice actors for Anthem. The voice actors, for the most part, are very good. However, they lacked direction, whether it is from the director or from higher up of the director. But like the very final mission, which I'm not going to tell you guys about, like what it entails, but the VO of the heroes of the story lacked emotion. It's like they had just gone down to the bar and one of them stepped on
I don't know, man.
that had a bit of piss on it.
We've been talking off stream about this, and I'm not I sort of disagree on that. There's plenty of issues about Anthem that I think destroy some of the storytelling with it. But in my mind, I think the voice acting and the facial animations are better than anything in that genre. Anyway,
some of it is really endearing. I'm not going to lie. Some of the side quest stuff, I was very muchly immersed in it because it was very.
I agree.
Endearing.
I was playing a bunch of side quests today, and I thought they were actually quite good. I think for me, like. I know the load screens have been improved, but just significantly the way the system is set up,
don't even get me started on the UI.
To
UX.
not be the UI and not being able to change your equipment mid match, and then when you do change, you get a load screen. You see your results. You get another load screen. You go to the forge. You change your gear. You get another load screen. You come back to the Fortasis. Then you speak to someone for like 5 minutes. Then you got to run all the way back to your fucking suit, and then you get a load screen into your suit, and then you get a load screen into the fucking
mission. Then you get load screens. People have already moved on along the missions. If you're slower than them, it's just load screen after load screen, and it breaks game flow. It breaks the flow really badly.
Underneath that, I enjoy. There's still a lot of work I think that needs to happen with like weapons and combos and abilities. But I can see a real appeal to the combo system. I think they need way more cool looking stuff in regards to getting your combos working. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, you have like primers and detonators. A primer might be something that applies like a status effect. They get set alight, and then you have a weapon that's a detonator, like a bomb, and then it applies like a combo, which is like, for me, it's chained explosions.
Damage,
And so, to be honest, to do the most damage, you're usually doing a primer detonator combo, but your teammates can do primers and detonators too. So there's teamwork there, but
so Maddie and I were up to a point where we could do a little bit of endgame stuff, and he set up his Colossus, his thick boy. With all primers, and I had all detonators on my Ranger, and it made it work quite well. And I really thought it
was fun when we were like in comms communicating with primers and detonators, right? It was actually pretty cool.
Sorry, Log, what were you going to say, bud?
I was just it's fine. Like, I think the thing that's gonna impact the longevity of this is how much of this shit they can address really quickly, and as much as it fucking pains me, I know they do seem to be. So I guess what people are most interested in, if they bought it or if they had it on the 15th and they haven't gone back yet, was there much of a difference with this day one a week in patch that they released?
Yes, yes, there was. So
there was heaps of things done, but
they fixed the load screen, at least for me, so I could move the game off of my OS drive back to my game drive, and the load screens were they were about on par when it was on the OS drive. The changes to the mid campaign grind on free play, I didn't find it too much of a grind, but a lot of people did. That's been changed and rectified. There are a few smaller changes with animations and all that sort of thing, still a little bit derpy. So I was playing with Struggle a little bit earlier on the other day, and I had my shield up. I was playing as my thick boy. I had my shield up, and he was holding the shield around his penis and running around like this. It was like there's animation. There's a few animation problems.
Personally, I think I don't like the Frostbite engine, and I haven't for a fucking very long time. And I think that probably from the ground up, it's what's going to hamstring Anthem, because it's just not I don't know. That's just always going to happen. I just don't think, I can't see it turning around and being like this, all, you know, them chiseling away at it enough to be a completely refined experience. I mean, look at Destiny. It's, you know, we've still got glitches and shit, and that's fine. That's par for the course. That's gaming. But I think, look, I won't lie, like even playing the beta, there was part of it that was like, if they could refine it to the core experience of going around with your mates and blowing shit up and remove all the clunkiness out of the way you get there and all that sort of stuff. There's parts of the gameplay that are fun, but by the sound of it, and having watched, I mean, I'm not going to say I've watched heaps of reviews on it or anything. I've tried to watch impartial reviews so that I could contribute something because I knew that you guys were going to want to talk about it, but I didn't want to have to go and pay for it and buy it myself. But I think that the thing that's probably fucked Anthem more than anything else is that it was BioWare that made it. And people went into it expecting it to be like a cross between Destiny and Mass Effect in suits. And they've not managed to do that. Like, there's no conversation wheel stuff that really impacts the game. But it doesn't change anything.
It's exactly right. Like there's elements of it in there, but all that's done is encourage people to judge it via Mass Effect. Yeah. Whereas if they didn't put those elements in, people would still compare it to Mass Effect, which I don't think is like, it's a completely different game. Like that's a story-based single player, right? Well, you get this multiplayer in it too, right? But like, you know, like the primary, it's like The Witcher, you know, it's about stories. Anthem's a looter shooter, and I don't feel like that's a fair comparison. But I do want to answer one question that was in the chat about if its lore is deep, and there's a lot of entries. The second video I made on it, I really had a cool feeling of like with what I had with Destiny, with discovering something in the lore that's not really told to you, and it like impacted your complete understanding of the ending and the end cutscene. And I was like, oh, that was really cool. And then I understood the NPC's background more, and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool too. I think overall though, I don't know how common that will be. And I guess what was really special about Destiny is I've been doing that for 4 years. I've been finding things that are like, oh, that's cool. Like that links to this, which links to that, which links to that. And it gives you like a greater sort of thrill about the world. There is definitely elements of that in Anthem. I just don't know how many yet. And there's a lot
much,
of there, but I'm talking about the little strings of stories that just hint at stuff that you have to interpret. There's a lot of volume there. And there's a lot of things that will complement your understanding, but I don't know if it will contain the same mystery as Destiny, but I also haven't read enough of it yet either. So
there is, once you get into the end game stuff and you start completing all of the side quests that aren't procedurally generated, there's a lot there. There's a lot of background and a lot of things. Have you done Dax's quest line to full, Matt?
No. So I wanted to make a video on the Anthem itself, what that is, and the Shapers. So I just finished the Arcanist quest line, but I'm trying to decide whether I should just start writing a video now or if I should finish all of the side quests first.
I'd say finish the side quests.
Do Dax and
because there's a few things that
there are ones in there too, maybe.
Yeah, there's a few things that sort of they're like, oh, cool, this has happened, but what are the effects, long-term effects of this happening? Yeah. And the Urgoth seem really cool to me. I've read a lot of them.
Yes,
the Urgoth are the things that dominated humanity for the longest time. And then Helena Tarsus and her group of merry men built the first javelins and took out the Urgoth and pushed them out of Bastion and all that sort of thing. And that's when the Dominion popped up, and that's when the Scars made a return and all that sort of thing. Like it's
the way you unlock it. Someone's asking about that is really good. I wish Destiny did this for their quests. Like if you do an agent quest, right, and you get like crucial bit of information, it logs it like in your cortex. and you can like step one, basically, this is what happened, this is the outcome. And then if you then do another mission that regards at it, it like adds it to your entry. Just like Destiny now has lore books, but a little bit like that for like quests. So you have, if you ever struggled to remember like what you were doing and whatever thing, or you just tuned out, or people were talking in Discord and you missed something, you can check your Cortex and you can see like the chronological order of missions that you did and the main crux lore from it. So that's really cool. And when you get, like when you defeat an enemy, you do a certain like agent mission, it also updates Cortex entries. So like if you get a mission on the Shapers, it will say like Shaper entry updated, and there'll be like a new entry in there for you to read. And those aspects I really like, and I wish, well, Destiny sort of got them now with the lore books. I wish they added it for like exotic quests, because that would just make my life so much easier.
No, you're not allowed to have it easy. You must work every day for the rest of your life on the YouTube channel that you created, you fucker. I still stand by. I love playing the game. I love playing the game. I think the gameplay is fantastic. I love the combo system. I love playing with the people that I play with. Is it worth $100, $60 purchase price now? No. And I stand by that. I wholeheartedly stand by that. It is fun for me. I have a background in grindy games. I like I really, really, really like being able to be Iron Man, for lack of a better term. Yeah. I love the combo system and all that sort of thing. But if you're on the fence about it, either go get Origin Premiere and get it for a month for $20 if you feel a need to, or if you're on console and you don't have access to that, wait for it to go on special. Seriously, wait for it to go on special.
So if I was to summarize like things that I would prioritize as devs of Anthem, there's a lot to fix, and I disagree with things aren't fixable, because we've seen a lot of shitty game launches, Destiny included, that have come back from death. I think Anthem, though, is probably very close to the bottom of like, this is almost not fixable, but this is what I think needs to happen with Anthem. I think you need to get people into looting and shooting more. And the way you do that is you allow them to access an inventory system without load screens. If they can somehow solve that problem, that will be a massive quality of life change. The second thing is, after you finish a mission, the logic to get you back in another mission, rather than load screen to forge, load screen to Fort Tarsus, back in the mission, you need some way of then jumping straight from the end of mission into another contract, into another mission, into another free play straight away, right? And then you manage your inventory in game. If they did those two things, that would have a fucking massive impact on how enjoyable Anthem is. And the third thing, which I think is big, but I think they need to solve it, is a lot of the Javelins look the same, right? They need to spice up the armor and the way it looks and the aesthetics of weapons, because I can't see there being the kind of culture you have in Destiny, which is like you can refer to an item, one-eyed mask, right? Or Red Death, or I can't see there being iconic weapons, and I feel like that's really important mythos
when you can
for a game.
Re-roll every legendary and every masterwork, I
feel like they need to work that out somehow. I feel like you need iconic things that screams, this is Anthem.
Well, I mean, color, like they've got the colors down pat. So as much as Zebra without a sword fucking hates it for me, my thick boy looks like original Megatron from the original Transformers series. Like color.
See, I don't think colors is enough.
Colors is definitely not enough.
Colors has to be the start.
It is definitely not enough. But like, there are some people out there who have put a lot of work into their color and it looks fantastic. And there are some people, like a few friends of mine, who have just gone with the most offensive colors that they can possibly make, and that's them.
Yeah, but you see your own character, you're just hurting your own eyes. It's not like Destiny where you can make yourself look like vomit and everyone else has to put up with it.
Has to deal with it.
I don't know. Look, when they fix these things that Matt wants them to fix, then I'll jump back in. Then I'll give it a go. Okay, that's the when these things are addressed.
I think those things would make a massive difference, and I hope that they do that.
I'm gonna do a song about it. I'll do a song about it when that happens, Matt. I'll do a song about it, and I'll have a load screen between every person chorus.
If a game is about looting and shooting, you got to get people looting and shooting. Simple as that. Like,
the downtime is makes it very difficult to continue on. Anyway, that's our very honest take on the game. Yes. I think it has lots of potential. I do think there is a foundation. Just like there was a foundation there for Destiny, I do think there is a foundation there for Anthem. My gut feeling is that it's probably the foundation is probably a little bit weaker than what Destiny was, but I still think that there is a base game there that can be saved and can be good. Now, the only issue is, and this is something that crossed my desk this morning, is that if you are an EA contributor, I think it's what it is, or a game changer, or whatever.
Game changer.
Yeah, game changer. Which I am.
Are you a game changer, Matt? Well, yes. How does that work? Does your shit have to be reviewed, or?
Technically, yes. Yes.
So there was a.
I don't know if I want to go into details of this. So
we're gonna leave Matt out of it. We'll leave Matt out.
No. Okay. So no, hold on. I can probably clarify this. So I have. It's gonna sound so fancy. I've got an agent that manages sponsorships, right? But if you don't have, so that agent
Hollywood Games.
That agent manages that for me. Okay. If you don't do that and you're just doing it solo, yes, what happens is you sign a contract with EA to sign up for EA Game Changers, and I've seen that contract, and part of that contract is that they have the opportunity to review your content before it goes live. Yep. And that is very typical. We did that with Activision and Bungie, right?
Yep.
We did that when with that's if at the end of the day, if a company's paying you to make content, they want to review it first. That's not standard. That's standard.
So there was this fella. I've never watched his content. I don't intend to. But EA, from his side of the story, he released a video after he's on the EA Game Changer. He released a video, and it was his honest thoughts on the game. And an honest thought, an impartial review is definitely what you need in a game such as this, which has had so much press and like the hype train has been so big, and people are very muchly down on it because it's published by EA, or it's not Mass Effect or whatever. Anyway, from what I've been told, it is a completely impartial and honest review of the game, and EA took the video down.
I don't know if they took it down. He was forced to delete it. He was forced to take it down.
This is from his side of the story. I'm not saying it as fact. I'm reporting on it on what I know. Is that it is his side of the story that EA forced him to take the video down. Because he gave an honest review, and an honest review will give you the good and the bad of what it is that you are reviewing.
Yeah.
And it reeks of paid review rather than honest review.
See, and this is what people had issue when I was saying I was getting sponsorships. And this is my argument, is that I don't make reviews. And if I spoke about everything wrong with Destiny, I wouldn't have time to speak about the law. If I spoke about everything wrong with Activision's decisions, I wouldn't have time to make law
That's what
videos.
you got the DDU for.
This is why we've got this avenue to make this commentary.
To yell at the world.
But
Go fuck yourself.
I definitely don't defend EA, but I do feel like if you're a reviewer, okay, because his channel is mainly reviews, right? Like that's what he does. He reviews games.
No idea. Maybe.
Like,
oh, sorry. Yeah, that was the thing. So I was trying to figure out what the issue was. Tuman, thank you. So he had a watermark that said EA Game Changer or something like that on the video, and they told it. EA forced him to take it down, and he took the watermark off, re-uploaded it, perfect. You know, happy as Larry. So
they didn't want it to be associated with EA Game Changers.
Yeah, and he said that he was blacklisted as a game changer at that point.
Yeah, he said that. Now there has been a tweet from a CM from
I'll
EA.
read it. I'll read it. I've got it up. It was what I was doing while he was shitting on about Anthem. So Lee Williams, who is, from what I can gather, the guy who basically the overseer of the Game Changer project or whatever you want to call it, says, "Hey, both, just wanted to clear something up. Nobody has been blacklisted by us. Our team in Australia asked the video to be taken down because some of our conditions on disclosure on sponsored weren't met." I assume he means sponsored content. Nothing to do with the content of the video. So that's all well and good. But there's a couple of problems with that. There's a couple of problems with that. Firstly, every single tweet that has been in reply to that has been saying what conditions haven't been met, and he hasn't answered a single one of them yet. The second being, it further goes to demonize the bloke who basically content has been pulled, saying that, well, okay, he's a liar. So, I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he's a fuckwit, and we're looking at this and it's a shitstorm about nothing. Maybe this guy's just an asshole. But I don't think so.
Because I actually met him. Okay, I met that guy in Japan. We were both in Japan at the same time. Okay, now here's where it gets like,
why are they flying around a guy that's a video game reviewer? Shouldn't his whole thing be about being impartial?
That's part of the thing, right? So, I mean, if you look at every game, like the IGNs and the Kotakus, like, they're paid by the people to make the reviews. That's why no one trusts their fucking reviews. Part of the appeal to a single YouTuber reviewing it is that they're often not paid by the company. And, but to defend this though, right? There's a difference in sponsorship between being flown to Japan to preview Anthem, right? Because we got flown to Japan, we stayed there for a couple nights, whatever, 2-3 nights, and I had a full game of game capture, right? They're not necessarily paying him specifically to make X content. Some sponsorships is that. Some sponsorships, we will pay you to make X amount of videos, or we will pay you to tweet. All the tweets about that have sponsored or ads, have that element to them, and that's why it's so difficult, because there's different levels of sponsorships. And I think when you're reviewing a game and you're either encouraging an audience to purchase it or not purchase it, sponsorships are really hard to manage. And fuck, I don't even know, like, is the question that EA shouldn't invite reviewers for sponsorships?
I don't think that there's a problem with them inviting reviewers to capture events and things like that.
They have to accept that they're probably going to say some bad shit about a game if it's not good, right?
Yeah, true. But
so in my mind, if they invited him, regardless about them paying him to be there and to make videos or whatever, they have to accept freedom, or depends what that contract said. He really, if he's a reviewer, needed to be like, well, guys, I'm a reviewer, I'm concerned about this clause. And I did that with certain contracts. And I'm like, no, I don't want to take it then. This needs to change, or we need some flexibility here. Like, it's not set in stone. You can do stuff like that. But with the big companies, they can just go, well, fuck you then. We're not letting you do it. And so from the content creator's point of view, it's like, okay, I've got an opportunity. Anthem could be the next best thing. Of course, as a reviewer, we got to see the end game. you know, like Skill Up and stuff, who make great reviews, hasn't played the end game yet. I've played the end game. They gave me an epic javelin. We did strongholds, the final strongholds. So as a reviewer, I had a full 3 weeks head start. So that would have been really valuable to make an Anthem review. I could have an Anthem review including end game when no one's even at the fucking end game yet.
It's so murky, man. It was like 2 weeks ago we ended up talking about shit like this with fucking Apex and all of that, man. Like, I don't understand how you can have an ongoing relationship with someone who is meant to be an impartial reviewer. And if you're a reviewer, I don't understand why you would be seeking out something like the Game Changer program to begin with, because all it does is make it look like you're biased. It's fucking insane.
It does. And look, but this is, the thing is, this is like every business, right? Like, I do this for universities, do this all the fucking time. And they'll get paid by business to do research for that business. Right? Like, and the ethical thing, the only thing that you can do, firstly, is to establish trust with the audience and know that even though you're being paid, that they're still going to get honest opinion. And that's just up to you to do that. That's up to you to provide content for years that is worth reviewing and to establish trust and respect for the audience. And the second thing is disclosure, right? Disclose that is a conflict of interest straight up. Hey, they're paying me for this review, but the only thing you have to do is trust that it's my opinion. That's it. That's the only thing you can do to combat that. And if you can't get through those barriers, well, then you probably can't accept that sponsorship if you're a review channel.
I just don't think you can, man. And I don't think EA should be fucking doing it either. I don't think EA should be looking at people who are doing games reviews going, oh, we've got something right up your alley coming around the corner. Let's fucking fly you out to another country and put you up and, you know, do all these things that skew your perception of fucking something before you even get to review it. I don't know. To me, I mean, the amount of shit that goes on with like gifting and anything, like you talked to Chucky about what happens in fucking any kind of public sector stuff. You have to declare everything. This is so fucking murky on so many levels that I can't believe that it's sort of, this is the way it's working. With you, it's really clear cut because you're not passing an opinion on anything and it's not about your integrity or their integrity. You're going, this is what's this is the law and I can talk about the law. Yeah. That's fine. That is a facet of the game. It's like if they got a guy that was like a weapons guy and he went through the weapons and talked about the weapons, it's fucking neither here nor there.
Yeah, and as long as like there's disclosure as well. And that's why you have to say, you know, this video is sponsored by EA Game Changer.
There's a couple of news outlets have already picked this story up, so it's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, I think, anyway, because it's. I mean, one way or another, someone's not telling the truth. Someone's telling pork pies.
End of the day, to be honest, EA put themselves in. They set themselves up to fail. They're like, we got a YouTuber who speaks their mind and does game reviews, and they're obviously part of EA Game Changers, which means they're getting some sort of sponsorship, whatever deal they have, financial gain. That is immediately a conflict of interest. So the only option for them is to just take it. Like, we have to just accept that we've invited that person and that we have to let them have freedom of speech.
That happens everywhere, man. Like, that's why they have such things as press passes and stuff. At events, like everywhere there are press passes, except with shit like this, it seems. I'm sure there's like journos and stuff get the invite in, but the difference between a journo and a fucking content creator, when you're talking about like review videos and stuff, is like they're basically a journalist. Like that's what they are.
And so just to like link back to like my big video and looking at like YouTube culture, this has really opened my eyes to how do you get really good independent game review YouTube channels that are sustainable? Because inherently they're not going to get sponsorships from games, right?
Yeah, true. That's the other side of the coin.
And if they're only relying upon ad revenue, which we just had a fucking rant about for like half an hour about
how unstable it is.
How unstable it is. how does the audience expect to see quality? And that's why there's not many guys at the top, man, because you can't fucking survive to get there. It's ruthless to get there.
Dude, they got to go the Jim Sterling model. They got to go the Jim Sterling model of the I run everything out of a Patreon. I run everything out of a Patreon. If you want to, I will be completely impartial to you because the only source of monetary gain for this content is from you. I will have your interests at heart and I will tell you the God's honest truth about fucking everything. Honestly, I don't know if that's the way Skill Up's going or what, but it should be.
So so there's other things. So like,
because he does a fucking good job at what he does. I mean, I don't always agree with him, but
Skill Up has Patreon. He obviously has ad revenue. Other thing I think he's done really well is he has Layman Gaming, which is basically a very quick gut reaction to gaming news with his brother that does very well in regards to views and are very easy to make because they're very light.
Just talking shit, yeah.
So it's like this. We don't have to prepare for the Destiny on a podcast, but imagine if we got 200,000 views every day.
You don't.
So yeah, I don't. Fuck that really. So that does well for itself, and then you got merchandise on top of that. And then you have sponsorships that are not game companies, right? Because this is the flip of the coin is like, okay, NVIDIA probably would do a sponsorship with Killer.
True.
Right? Sennheiser, because you know why? Because he gives an honest opinion and he's trustworthy and his audience respects him. So you have opportunity to sponsorships with other brands.
Long live Jim Sterling. Right, moving on.
So,
all right, that'll do. I think that'll do. I think we're done.
At the end of the day, support the people you want to support. The message take away from all this is support the people you want to support. Yeah. Call the AAA industry out on their bullshit. Have all the facts first.
Oh, mate, that's the most sense you've made in about fucking 4 years. That was really good point, Sloth.
All right, really Sloth, can you get into outro number 1 of 3, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, listening, and YouTubing, watching live, listening and watching on YouTube. You guys are fantastic. If you have any questions, queries, stuff, or points, let us know on Twitter or in the YouTube comments section. Please feel free to subscribe. And we've been the Destiny Down Under podcast.
Shit, he's fucking
go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'm shortening it. I mean, sick of giving shit about my fucking intro, outro that is supposed to thank everyone for hanging out because
Sloth,
we don't have to.
Sloth, can you say thanks, mate? Because I've got to fucking pull up someone to raid, man.
Hey.
He's fucking called my bluff. What have you got, Matt? Come on, fill in a minute. Jesus.
Well, I was going to say the law, load screen, will, load screen, loading screen,
Oh, wow.
Find, load screen, you, load screen, sponsored by EA Game Changers.
Message from our legal team. We're not actually sponsored by EA Game Changers.
Oh, yes, that was a joke, by the way.
It's a fucking shit joke. All right. We're going to go and visit a dude who I take great inspiration from when I do manage to catch him streaming, Dan Drumstone. He's actually playing Destiny, so he's not behind the kid at the moment. So it's the perfect storm because we only ever raid people who are playing Destiny, so we can fucking raid him. It's happening. How exciting is that? All right, so please stick around for that. And until next week, we'll... Oh, man, I fucked that up. This is hard, Sloth. I really take you for granted, man. Nothing. That was a very smart-ass facial expression. All right. Cheers, all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.